evening, everyone, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. And this is our Tactical Tuesday, and I got an echo over here. There we go, got rid of the echo. Tactical Tuesday, where we talk about tactics, gear, and more. And tonight's going to be a little bit about the more and a little bit more about tactics, because tonight's topic is advice you should tell new preppers. And I'm going to go into a little bit about why you should tell them. All right. So right now I'm here by myself, and let me get up here and just see who all's in here first before I drop the link in here. All right. Oh man, jump down. I hate when he does that. All right. First one in was CB at Huga Homestead, followed by CR from north of the border. Super Scout came in. He's watching his kids. Howie popped in and said, "Boot, Howie, it's not Halloween yet." But in my case, Halloween can be 360 days a year. You got to take out the 4th of July, got to take out Christmas, got to take out Valentine's Day, take out my wife's birthday and my birthday. Okay. Actually, my birthday's Halloween anyway, so. All right, let's see what we got here. Pastor McQuaddy was next in the house. Hey. And Walt Rogers slid in. And I froze. And he's out riding the fence at his ranch, making sure his cattle don't get out. Idaho Garden Girl. Hey, Steph. And Tibor is in the house. There's a guy I wish would start putting out a bunch of videos. Start sharing his knowledge. Everyone's saying, Stringfield Ridge Farm is in the house. Hey, Teresa. And Lee, if you're sitting there listening too. Or should I say President Lee. All right, what else we got here? Everybody's talking to each other. Homestead Aquarius. Hey, Robert. And Where to Begin Homestead. Hey, Janice. And Chipper66 is in the house. And, that just jumped a whole bunch more here. Okay, Chipper66 is lurking. Kathy D. Hey, how's it going? Tina Weber. And there's rolling in here. I've got to keep up. Uncle Al's back in again. That's right. Uncle Al had put one earlier, but StreamYard didn't pick his up because he did it so early. And what else we got in here? Okay, finally caught up here. Of course, more names are going to come rolling in here in a minute. So for those of you who don't follow my other, checking my hat's on straight here, who don't follow my other channel, Camp Patton Family Compound, you missed out on one heck of a day yesterday. Holy moly. We had the concrete scheduled for 5 o'clock for the trucks to arrive. Sunday night, evidently, John at John Kuntz Construction got a message from the batch plant. We're going to push you back to 10:30. And he goes, oh crap! He entered it and forgot to send it. So I'm okay. I got to make sure I'm up by 4 o'clock. Make sure I can get out there, get all the lights set up for these guys so they can see. Go to bed. I'll get 7.5 hours of sleep. Good sleep. I woke up at 12:30. So oh crap! Go back to go. Rolled over, pulled the blankets over. 1:30. Wake up again. 2:30 or 2:15. I came back awake on a hard awake. It's like my mind saying, "Hey, ain't sleeping. You got shit to do." And I'm like, "Hey, don't swear at me." And so I got up, did a little bit of stuff, got some breakfast, took a walk around the property because we've had a mountain lion around here. And I went out there with my tactical Mossberg with 3-inch Magnum shells loaded with triple aught buck. No more signs of it coming into the property. Came back in, put it away, and started getting stuff and started going out and opened up the doors, turned on all the lights, started hauling out all this stuff. Anyways, got a bunch of stuff done and all the lights up there, turned all the lights on. It's like, dang, I can get a suntan under that. And so I came inside, and at 5 o'clock, that guy's about 5:10. I went live. Okay, not sure they're not here, not much going on. After half an hour, I shut it down, told everybody, hey, I'll go ahead and when I get an update, I'll redo it live. Well, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, he says, oh, crap, I forgot to send the message. I typed it out, forgot to send it. It's going to be at 10:30. Okay. So I go out, and there's a video. I did a video that's partially included in there, and I pulled all the stuff back in. All the lights, because, hey, it's light out now. So I pulled all the lights off the ladders, pulled all the ladders in, pulled all the clamp lights that spread around the periphery, pulled everything in. And I'm coming back in, and I'm getting ready to lie down. I figured, okay, I can take a nap, get a text from a message from. They changed it to 9:45. We're on our way. Up again. Out I go again. One of the reasons I'm telling us this, you got to be prepared for anything. You got to roll with the flow, be prepared. Don't freak out and go panicking when something doesn't go right. Okay? And that's one thing you need to tell new preppers. All right? So with that, I'm going to drop this now that I froze. There we go. So there is the link, and we'll see who all comes up here. And I'm going to right now disagree with what Al said in his very first thing is new preppers need to go away. I disagree with that. New preppers need to get on board and start working hard, especially with the way things are going now, because you don't want them out there not prepared at all and looking around and looking for someplace that takes stuff from. You want them to get prepared so they leave your stuff alone. You got to be flexible. That's one of the main things, to be flexible. I was a Scoutmaster, and one of the things that I love about Boy Scouts is the motto, be prepared. So they got the motto, be prepared. They got the, forgot what it's called. It's called do a good turn daily. I forget what that is, what that's called. It's not the motto. And then they've added something new lately in the last 8 years or so. Prepared for life. Sort of like not a motto, not the other thing, but just sort of like, hey, you just, get prepared for life, because life is always going to be tumultuous. Ooh, I said a $20 word. All right. So with that, if nobody else comes up here, everybody, all right, so this is prepping time. So everybody out there, here it is, get your notebooks ready. Take notes so you know how to bring stuff up to people, that come to you for advice. I put a couple things down on 2 slides, just 2. Yes, okay, but you don't just want to tell them, go out and get the basics. So they're going to go, what do you mean? So here's some of the things, having been the emergency management coordinator for Homeland Security since its inception, and been working with fire departments and police departments long before that. And anyways, basically since 1971, I've been teaching emergency preparedness and response. So yes, I'm an old fart. Chipper. Hey, Brenda, how's it going? All right. All righty. Sorry. That's another thing too. if someone's trying to prep us up, you got to remember they got to keep a positive attitude and be able to laugh. All right, so let's go over here to, here we go. So advice you should tell new preppers. And so this is some of the stuff I've learned over the years in teaching preppers at emergency preparedness fairs and symposiums and seminars and stuff. All right. If they're, especially in today's time, they need to go and create a menu of sorts. It doesn't be an exact menu, but right, a menu of what they eat now. All right. So, well, it's like, oh, we have waffles every Sunday. We do have 40% bran or raisin bran most days of the week. We have bread and meat sandwiches most days for lunch. And you go, so they need to figure out what they're eating. All right, that kind of falls in 5. You basically give them something to do now, and then you make time to sit down with them at some point, because if you can sit down with them, you can help them a lot better. Okay, Gear Grinding 19 just came in. LG just came in. Hey, and Kaylin Strain just came in. Hey, guys. All right, so now, if they want to do something right now before the meeting, fine. Get some water storage containers. Don't spend an arm and a leg. Those 5-gallon water cubes that are not Water Cube brand are about half the price of Water Cube and just as good. Hey, Prepping to Endure, how's it going? They can get those. They can go to Wally World and get in the camping section, get the 7-gallon water containers, the 5-gallon ones that have the spigot on it. They can hunt around and find, even on Amazon now, then you'll find some on Amazon that are cheaper than they are in the brick and mortar stores. So have them get water storage containers, and that gets them a little busy there. And then tell them, hey, any medications you're taking, asthma, pain relievers, blood pressure, insulin, anything that you're taking, allergy medications, get more. And and they go, well, what about the ones with prescriptions? Talk to your doctor. Tell them you want an extra month in case a disaster happens, like the snowstorm. You get snowed in, you can't get to. Tell them you want to have 1 month's extra so that you can put into rotation. Most doctors will give you the prescription for that, and then they won't give you another one like that for a year. All right, but then they'll give you your normal one at the rest of the time. They won't give you an extra one. All right, so get them going on medications and getting water. The reason why I put water up there right away is the rules of 3. There are 3 rules of 3, not 4, 5, or 6. First rule of 3 is timeout. Hey, Shady Hill Homestead, how you doing? Zombie Prepper, how it's going? So first rule of 3 is the average person dies 3 minutes without air. So if you're being choked off, submerged, or whether 3 minutes without air, the average person dies. Number 2, 3 days without water, the average person dies. Number 3, 3 weeks without food, the average person dies. Now, this isn't, I don't have big meals, I can go scrounge. No, this is nothing to eat. Okay, nothing to drink. All right, so 3 days without water, you die. If you have water and you don't have any food, it's 3 weeks without food, the average person dies. Okay, so you don't have to tell them that right away, but just tell them get water in case So what happens if the water system stops for a little bit, and that gets them motivated on that. Then when you sit down with them, have them you can go over there with them, especially if they're good friends and stuff. You can go through their pantry, have them inventory what they have. Show them the best use by date. And remember, best use by dates are not expiration dates. They're just the dates that the flavor starts to tip down, and the food industry wants you to throw it away and buy new stuff. All right. So, all right. I'm just checking the side check to make sure nobody comes in and see what good ideas are popping out there. All right. So once they inventory, so all right, now what is it that you eat the most of? And going back kind of to the menu thing at the beginning, but this is now sitting down and really getting serious about it. Take the little menu they created, sit down with them, and figure out what they've done, and then make sure you get 0.6 here across to them. Store what you eat what you store. If it's on sale at the store and you don't eat it and you don't like it, why buy it? Why store it? Okay. Hey, Granny Goose, how you do? All right, cool. But beyond that, if you can get some doctors will only do certain medications for 30 days, no matter what the insurance will pay for. They will only do a 30-day medication on certain ones. Those are the ones you got to talk to your doctor about, kicking it a little bit. But if you can get that 90-day supply and keep a 90-day supply on hand, that's the thing. So to be able to keep the 90-day supply on hand, then you're a little bit more golden. Okay, so in dealing with the food portion of it here, once you figure out what they eat the most of, what they have in their pantry, and you get the point across to them to store what they eat and eat what they store, start with a 7-day menu. Write out a hard 7-day menu. So Sunday morning, Sunday lunch, Sunday dinner, Monday breakfast. Just go through every day of the week. Boom. All right, week 2. Change it up a little bit and do week 2. Throw some alternating stuff that you eat occasionally that you don't really think about. Start throwing that stuff in there. Get them to put that in there. Oh, all right, now week 3. Till you have a month's worth of menus, or 4 or 5. 5 weeks is best. 5 weeks worth of menus, pros, where things change, so they don't get. I just lost the word. It's called food something or other, where they get, I don't want to eat because it's the same damn thing all the time. Pardon my French. So once they created a comfortable variety menu for a month, tell them, all right, now get a month's worth in your house to do that. And remember, spices and stuff and condiments that go with those meals. Yeah, there is food fatigue. Thank you, P2E. Food fatigue. And then LG is right behind him. Kalen's right behind him, but prepping to endure won the race. All right. So once they have a menu, talk to them, and once they have a menu for 5 weeks, a little over a month, and they're comfortable with that menu, have them get that menu in their pantry. Once they have it in there, say, as they get in there, they come to you, hey, we got it all. What do we do now? Well, first of all, I say, do you feel a little bit better knowing that you have a month's worth of food on hand in case there's a crisis? And they'll probably say, oh, yeah, I feel much better. Good. Make it 2. And they're going to go, what? Make it 2. And if they give you a puzzled look, tell them, Homeland Security put out a memo to their employees to have 6 months worth of food on hand. Don't you think if the government knows something where they're telling their people to have 6 months worth of food on hand, that we should do it too? And then they'll go do it. Hopefully they'll go and do the second one, or some do one more month. Once they have 2 months on hand, then you talk to them about, all right, more water. And then you can change it up about, all right, cornmeal is a good item. You can store a lot of it. It stores well. Yes. And if you have, side note here, if you have some baking soda stored as well, and you have a mouse problem, you mix a little cornmeal with the baking soda and put it out in a little tray for the mice to eat it, and it'll kill them. They can't fart or burp. And CB put it right. CR put it right. Yeah. Increase the buffer zone. Exactly. When did Homeland Security say that? Homeland Security said that, and let me get my date right, November 2019 was when the memo went out. It did not go public. How do I know about that? Because my email was still active. And I got an email on my personal emails that it was still active as the backup one, and they sent out to everybody's work email and personal email. So I got the memo. And like a wise man, I read it good and I deleted it so I didn't get in trouble. But then I had several of my friends on my team who are still working at Homeland Security call me up and say, hey, did you hear about this? And I go, yeah, make it a year and a half. And several of them have. It's taken them over a year to do it, but they've done it. All right. Yeah, and some of what they knew was the Red Dragon, because it was already active at that time over in the city of its origin. That's all we're going to talk about. That nobody use the C word, please. Either C word. All righty. So, yeah. Let's see what else here we got here before I go on here. All right, so all right. So once they get 2 months in talking about water, and when talking to them about water, talk to them about powdered milk. And if they're like me, they're going to go, because when I was young, my mom used to make powdered milk, and she did it the wrong way. The way my mom used to do it, she would mix it up for dinner as she's cooking dinner with warm tap water, room temperature tap water, and put it out there for us to drink. That's the next morning. It had cooled down, the flavor changed, and it was acceptable to put it on cereal. Now, there are a lot more different varieties of powdered milk. You can even get whole powdered milk. You can get some other ones that are out there and stuff that last a bit longer and taste better than the non-fat powdered milk. Okay. Pinto beans, cornbread, fried taters, spinach. Yeah. Add Kool-Aid. All right, guys. I'm going to ruin everybody's knowledge of where the term drink the Kool-Aid came from. The term drink the Kool-Aid came from the Branch Davidian or what? No, Jim Jones. Jim Jones down there in his compound down there. When the FBI went down in there after they went all crazy, killed everybody, committed suicide, did all that stuff. And one of the FBI agents who was dumb and didn't know how to take it to a proper report and note what he was seeing said, "Oh yeah, they had a bunch of packages of Kool-Aid." And no, it wasn't Kool-Aid. It was not Kool-Aid. It was a different brand called Flavor Aid, and that's what the picture showed. But this guy in a press conference said Kool-Aid, so that's what everybody ran with. So it's don't drink the Flavor Aid. All right. Yeah, that's right, Ken. Branch. Yeah. Anyways, that threw me off my beam there, and I got distracted. Squirrel moment. Got my disasters mixed up. All right. So you get them to start storing extra water and stuff they can make. The milk and the coffee and everything else, whatever they need for that stuff. Then you can also tell them when they're thinking about water and stuff about getting some good water filtration systems and stuff, and start with basic stuff. And right now there's one I got to get called Zero Water, because several other channels have done total blown out scientific comparisons on it with meters and stuff, testing the hardness of it, the chemicals in it and stuff. And it seems to be, it blew all the others out of the way. So I'm going to do my own. I've got one set up to order it. I'm going to order a zero water, and I'm going to test it myself. All right. Yeah, some people saying goat milk in there. That's the other thing. We're going to get to that in a little bit, because most people don't even think about it. We're not telling them to get animals yet. No, we're not telling them to get animals. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one here. All right. When you're talking to them, find out what things are they concerned about. What is it? Are they worried about an economic collapse? Are they worried about a total food shortage, supply chain collapse, or at least when it's going to go on for a couple months? Find out what it is that they're concerned about, why they now came to ask you about what they need to do, what are the things they need to do for prepping. Then you talk to them about what skills they have. And generally they're going to go, oh, I haven't got any. Because they're thinking survivalist prepper. And then you need to have a conversation with them. Well, all the different things that they actually know how to do. Have you ever replaced a light switch? Have you ever worked on your own plumbing, replaced the toilet seal? Talk about the things they've done, and they'll suddenly realize they have a lot more skills than some people have. That there is a big morale booster to them. And so we got a bunch of stuff. Howie's throwing up that there. Yes, we will be getting to that later on here, but that's a good point because I don't have that written down. Shelter and cover needed, for certain things. Al said, winter's coming. Al, you don't need to worry about heat. You're going to be at 90 degrees all the way through winter this year. He did not want to hear me say that. Hang on here. All right. What time? Comments. I see what comments there before I go on. All right. So you work on what skills they have, and then you start recommending some skills for them to get. All right? Everybody side chat. Get ready to answer this. I want to see everyone in the side chat put an answer into this. What is the first skill that you're going to recommend for someone to get? All right. So the first skill. And while you're thinking about it, you put 1 in the first skill. Put number 2 in the second skill that you would recommend them to get. Okay. So what are the first 2 skills you're going to recommend for someone who wants to start prepping, that if they don't have them already, that they need to get? Yeah, I love headlamps when I'm working somewhere. I also love having the freestanding lights to take in, like I'm under the house. I'll take the lights in, the freestanding ones and stuff, because sometimes you need a light here and you need a light on what zeroed in on what you're working on too. Okay, Brenda says gardening and cooking, good ones. Fire making, water purifying. All right. Anybody else have any comments they're thinking of to put in there? Oh, Tibor scores! Medical training, first aid, advanced first aid. And if they can have a Boy Scout shop near them, go down and take that first aid to the next level with wilderness survival first aid. Okay. So that, the number 1 skill, I always tell a person, get your Red Cross first aid. I already got it. Get your advanced first aid. Advanced first aid. Get your advanced first aid. After you have that, get your wilderness survival first aid. They each teach a little bit more, a little bit different, and add on, especially if you're in a disaster, you want your wilderness first aid training. So we got home cooking, water purification, fire starting, first aid. 1, all of the above. 2, repeat. Okay. No, we are not giving out merit badges. All right. I'm not talking about you, Gear. I'm talking about someone comes to you. What are you going to tell them to do? All right. Hey, Glenn, how's it going? All right. So the number one skill I tell people, first aid. Get your first aid multimedia, so that's first aid and CPR. Get that down. And nowadays that we have these automated, the electronic defibrillators, AEDs, go to your fire station, see if they can give you a little hands-on training on it, because I have some training ones. Get a little training on it. So if it happens, you have to grab one, how it uses. And usually they'll have 2 or 3 different types. At least in California, they had 2 or 3 different types in Contra Costa County, because those are more than one type out there, and some were a little bit differently. All right. The second thing I usually tell them, something to learn how to do, is, I'm serious. I'm going to I'm going to follow a few things here from the Boy Scout manual. Cooking, like you're going to get a cooking merit badge. All members of the family. Camping, learn how to camp. Something to put on the list, not to have to do right thing. Make sure you just put on the list to do it at some point here. Archery. Yeah, you know why. One of the things I'll tell them to do once they're doing the cooking and stuff, once they have, everybody knows how to cook. It's like, all right, now work on canning. And gardening. Learn to plant a garden. These are some of the skills they need to develop right away. LG, you are correct. And that's, comes with, and that's actually part of the camping merit badge to talk about how to do waste disposal. All right. You're going a little severe there, Howie. You're going overboard there. We're talking just basics. Basics here. Basics. All right. So once they learn, if they don't have have a vegetable garden, but they have an ornamental garden, tell them, all right, you already know how to garden a little bit. Start planting your vegetables, and then go over and all right. You say you get frozen spinach and stuff. Oh, learn how to plant fresh spinach. Carrots, plant some carrots. You like zucchini, you like squash, plant your zucchini, your patty pans, and your other stuff. So get them going. Now, one of the things that's important, oh, shoot, I forgot to pull it up here. I think I have it. Let me see if I have it here on the side here. Let me go into my special folder here. Images. I want to go to this one here and see if I got it in here. I had it. I know I have it on the other computer. No, I don't want everybody to calm down. I'm looking for a Christmas one here. Where is it? Dang. It's on the other computer. I haven't moved it over here yet. Okay. There is a one of the best ranking stop motion ones, not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, called Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and it's narrated by Fred Astaire as the postman. And it tells the story of young Kris Kringle. Hey, Al. It tells the story of young Kris Kringle and how he became, an outlaw because of the Burgermeisters, and then finally back. But he runs into the Winter Warlock, And yeah, and the Winter Warlock's all big, bad, and evil on him, and he hands him a toy train. And the Winter Warlock's, nobody's ever given me a present. And you see the ice start melting off the Winter Warlock as his heart warms because, all right. But I don't know how to be good. And Kris Kringle says, it's easy. Put one foot in front of another. And they break into a song. Put one foot in front of another, and soon you'll be walking across the floor. Yeah, okay.
This is not going to be a PSA worth $30 million, is it?
No. All right. So you get them to understand they don't do it all at once. And that's why you start out with them. Menu. You start breaking down simple steps. You get them going one step at a time. And when they complete a project, praise them. They go, ooh, you say, I did this. You go, great, great, great. And all of a sudden they go, ooh, I did great. And when they start feeling great, they can feel they can do more. And you get them to work on it and just work on it.
Right.
And so, you start, you get them to go it. And, one of the biggest things right now, especially if they can do it, is to plant a garden, grow food. Now, anybody that is an apartment dweller in here, check out Kaylin's channel. She's growing stuff on a small balcony. She's growing food. She's learning about growing food. She's getting more skills. And she's in a small apartment. All right. Oh, who's the other one? The Hoodstead.
Right.
She was in a tiny apartment and she was growing stuff. She's now in a bigger apartment now, thank goodness.
And growing bigger stuff.
And she's growing bigger stuff. All right. So there is. I love the way you did that, CR. I love the way you did that. Encourage, CR. Get them doing stuff and everything else.
Like I said, folks, the easiest way to do this before herbs, sprouting. You got a mason jar and a little screen. That's it.
Yeah.
You just put the seeds in there and wash it and rinse it. That's it.
Yeah. And now if they are a homeowner or, even if they're a renter and they know they're going to be renting there for 7-8 years, they're not planning on going anywhere, plant a fruit tree in the backyard.
Okay. Folks, on the fruit tree, I have to warn people, it takes 5 to 10 years to get a decent tree. Mm-hmm. And you have to spray, baby it, prune it.
Spray, if you take care of it good, keep the leaf, anytime you get
froze again.
When the leaves fall, clean the leaves away from them, put them over in a compost pile. Don't let them sit there and mold and stuff under the tree.
Right. But you got to understand, folks, I'm in California, Gil's in Idaho.
But my wife is still in California, and she has a heck of a orchard going in the backyard.
Right.
There's a video on it in the My Garden playlist.
Right. But she's had years of experience. I know people that have given trees that kills it in 2 years.
I know someone who killed it in 3 months.
I know. I had that person too. So I gave him
and he's called a son-in-law.
I gave him a lemon tree. That's still alive. They killed everything else. Pear, peaches, cherries, apples, kumquat.
Cherries are a little bit tougher in Northern California. Unless you are spraying chemicals.
Yeah. I'm in Southern California, and I use on cherries, folks, depending on what area of the country, you cannot spray cherries, make it organic. But it's really hard if you live in Gil knows what I'm talking about. In the middle of a desert full of bugs.
Yeah. Now, one of the things to consider, when you tell them to plant a fruit tree, now there are different varieties. Everything from ultra dwarf to full blown. The ultra dwarf will start producing decent harvests. It'll start producing a harvest in 3 years if it's from a 5-gallon bucket.
Right.
If you get the 10-gallon bucket, it may already be producing fruit. You may buy it from the nursery and it's got an apple on it, or it's got a pear on it. All right.
But usually the first 3 years, it's not full-size fruit.
Yeah,
It's a partial full size.
yeah.
And I
And
tell, go
once you
ahead.
put it in the ground, do not just dig a hole and drop it in. Okay, here, all right. The videos I did out there on the Lombardy poplars we put in, I talked about what we did. They came in a 5-gallon bucket, which is about that big around. We dug a hole 16 inches diameter and 16 inches deep. Of course, we planted 25 of them suckers, so I branded a bobcat with a thing and went around and did it. But I'm doing 50, 25, 15. I did a bunch of trees. Anyways, the thing is, though, what we did is we made I had a compost pile going, but if they don't have compost pile going, they can buy a good non-Miracle Grow, chemical-free bags of mix for trees. One's called Tree and Shrub by Kellogg's. It's the best one out there. It's been recommended by several horticulture department heads at different colleges. You take that and a wheelbarrow. You get some good organic manure, preferably from a dairy, and you mix that in there with it. And if your soil is acidic, fine. If it's alkali, throw a little peat moss in there. Preferably, believe it or not, the stuff from Canada is a little more acidic than the stuff from the United States.
Right, because it's a higher. Go ahead.
A higher acidic rate on it, and you mix it all up good, and you fill the bottom. You fill it up so it's higher than where if you drop the bucket in there, the bucket's going to sit about that much above the soil. You just put it in there, water it, and pack it down. Then you sprinkle a little loose stuff on it till you're at the right height to take that out of the bucket, set it there so that the root ball is at ground level. Then you scoop your dirt back in, and the excess dirt, spread it out several feet out and make a small berm around it as a water catchment. You don't want to put a big water catchment.
No, you don't want to drown your little tree.
Exactly. And once you have that in there, you should be good. Now, a lot of people are going to say, stake it. Not really. We've been talking to several different nurseries up here where the wind blows, and they told us for our Lombardy park, they said, don't stake it. Just make sure the ground is packed good around it. Hold it still so it doesn't fall over in the winds. And if you are worried about it, down low, use some tie lines with the special tape and stuff on it, just for the first 9 months. Then get that off of them.
Right. Or you could use the tire with the 2 wires at the end. That's easier on the tree trunk. Mm-hmm. You tie that to a T-post or whatever. Yeah. It's a big piece of rubber tire, and it goes around the tree. You only use it for a year, and you take it off after the year.
Yeah, because what happens if you stake it and goes too long, tops start growing, but the trunk is not building up from the wind blowing on it. It's being held and supported, and it's actually weak.
Right.
So you do a little bit so it doesn't blow over till the ground has set and its roots have gotten out there and have gotten into the ground. And usually 6 months to 9 months, it can handle anything just about for a small tree.
Oh, if you're in desert climates like I am, you could, on your hard tent, you could put, let's see.
Somebody actually left it in the bucket, Kaylin.
It's a big headache. Another trick is after you take out of the bucket, you line the bottom. If you're a really hot area like Gil says I live in, a desert, you put perlite and a mixture of sand to retain water for the first 30 days. Mm-hmm. That slowly dissolves, and you have a good root base on the bottom, not the sides, bottom, so the roots go down. And why?
Yeah, and the sand, don't mix it in. Just have it as a little layer, and because sand does provide minerals for the tree is going to need. Okay, and shoot. All right, you want to learn more about plants and stuff? Check out Howie Food Forest Permaculture or Ron over at the Green Wizard.
Right, get his book.
Yeah, his book is absolutely excellent. And if somebody wants to go on Amazon, pull up the Green Wizard's guide and throw it in the chat, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Right. Now, folks, big thing I tell a lot of beginning preppers, you can grow anything you want for the summer. That's your options. Also, that's for the herb option. But once you're getting close to the fall, you should have 3 basic plants that provide you with nutrition. Everybody can grow beans. All right. Had no problem with beans with a lot of people. I had a few people that kind of killed them, and I've kind of figured out what they did to them.
Either watered it way too much or not enough.
Both. They watered one end really heavy and the other end not enough, and only the middle side lived. Mm-hmm. And this is a shelling type of bean. Yeah. Tibor's correct. You might have wildlife like deer, boar.
Yeah. So like if you're in a real urban neighborhood where you don't have deer coming through, you're going to be good. But if you're out near on the fringes, where occasionally, like where I am here, we actually have deer that come through to the big apple trees, and they eat all the apples off the ground. And sometimes once they clean the ground off, they'll be standing up trying to grab apples off the tree.
Or worse, prune the tree. But the biggest problem is if you have like what's that little animal that eats all the fruit trees? Not beaver. Pointy thing. Porcupines. I hate those things.
Yeah, there are some animals like that. Even is it the raccoons that do it, or is it the possums? Will actually young trees will actually eat the bark off until the trees get a couple years old.
That's raccoons. Possums usually go after fruit, and if you look up in the tree and have a possum fall on your face, you notice.
Yeah. Squirrels go after the fruit too.
Yeah.
But the other thing that leads into something else where we're going to be kind of about and recommending to people. They need to check their local laws. Air rifles. The next best thing is a good slingshot and get especially the wrist rocket type where it's got the aiming thing on it and everything else. And make sure they develop
froze again
that skill, because if you got squirrels out there eating your food, you need to get rid of them
and eat them. Don't waste the food. Once you kill the squirrel, eat them.
I don't know. There's some squirrels around our house I wouldn't want to eat because they look like they may have something.
Could be. Could have bubonic plague. You're in Idaho.
No, I'm talking about the ones in California.
Still bubonic plague.
Yeah.
Also Black Death. And what is the other one? No, it's not rabies.
Oh, there's something else that usually that rodents get. They had that outbreak in Yosemite National Park.
Yeah. I can't remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it has to deal with their feces and stuff.
Right.
But let's move on from that, though. So, tell them plant a tree or two. Make sure the trees they plant have fruit they really eat. If they're always buying apples at the store, plant an apple tree. If they're buying cans of pears all the time, pears is one of their favorite things, plant a pear tree.
Right.
Now, if it's their property, they may want to plant a variety. In California, my wife planted a Granny Smith and a Fuji because they do good there. And we got
froze again.
She got a Fuji, Granny Smith, planted those, planted dwarfs, those dwarfs got pretty daggone big, and she's every year she's pruning them back down because they got so tall. Even with the pole, she couldn't get the fruit.
Right.
But the birds and the squirrels loved it up there.
Right. But the trouble with dwarves is sometimes they're not a true dwarf. It's a traditional dwarf, which is 10 to 15 feet tall. I keep telling this to people.
Yeah. That's why I said there are different ones you can get. We got an ultra dwarf apricot that we swear was mismarked because we thought the next one up from ultra dwarf, and it was supposed to only get so big, and it's twice that size, and it's kind of hung there at twice the size, but that's still bigger than we want, and my wife is constantly cutting it back.
Before we go on, there's 3 kinds of summer vegetables you have to plant. Is the hard shell bean type, so you could dry beans or eat it green, pickling. Then it's corn, because I've seen a lot of people this summer try to grow wheat, milo, rice. I couldn't believe somebody tried to grow rice.
That's for a little bit more advanced people. We're still talking. We talk about people that are just starting out.
Right, corn's the easiest.
Oh, corn, we've had nothing but problems with corn. Corn is not easy.
What are you doing with the corn?
Both here and in California, it just the wind here, and it just doesn't like the and to grow enough corn to sustain us takes a lot of land.
Yeah, I know.
So if they don't have a lot of land, that's not something. Squash goes for friggin' prophetic everywhere.
Right.
I mean, zucchini, you can buy a zucchini and let it go, and you have a club to kill somebody with.
Right. But on the squash, you want hard shell winter type.
Zucchini you want that and zucchini. You want. There is summer and winter. You want both, and you want to make sure the type you get are listed specifically as not cross-pollinating.
Right. Not hybrid.
All right, Howie. See you later.
Night, Howie.
All right. So talking about the trees pollinating, self-pollinating. Sometimes you can get 2 different varieties and graft it onto the same rootstock. So similar to, so you'll get some cross-pollination there. Potatoes is something they can start, like Dustin and Courtney at White Family Farm are doing potatoes in trash cans. Easy. I'm looking at timer, so I'm going to try to hurry on here. So if they're in there, if they bought the house and there, they can do the fruit trees. Now, if they have the money, they can get the 25-gallon or the 50-gallon wooden tubs of fruit trees that they put it in, and they are producing full-size fruit year 1 in the ground, and they're going.
Right. And most nurseries will deliver to your property.
Yeah. And so that does add value to property, and it also adds value to their food storage.
So if you give every neighbor around your block a fruit tree, you're never out of food. I've been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you can make flour out of it. Someone did a video on that. And then you can also do like my wife does. She runs it through the Cuisinart, grinds it up, so it slices it really thin. And I'm not sure what else she does, but basically she uses it in bread as well. Adds some, stuff to breads. So yeah, there's a lot of things to worry about. Start out slow, small, and simple, and talk to them often. These ones that are asking you about how to start prepping and stuff. Then give them the big secret of secret survival. I have a playlist called Prepping in Private. Talk about how you don't go out there and bring in these big old hauls of food and stuff. So all your neighbors are going, wow, they're bringing in a lot of food. Talking about prepping in private. If they get a big haul, only bring in the stuff that has to come in right away. Later on after dark, bring the rest in.
Right. Or you could do like Uncle Alan. I run a food bank and also a food pantry. And I just tell people, oh, do you want to donate to our church's food pantry and food bank?
They
Here's
turn
a
around and
list.
leave. They turn around and leave, don't they?
Yeah, especially when I follow them and try to give them brochures and tax information. You can write it off when you donate to the church,
Yeah.
and then I never see them again.
Speaking of compost, Sunday, all the corn crap is now in my deck compost bucket. Yes.
Oh, I have to warn people. There's that blue goo. I keep telling people that is not biodegradable. I do a lot of camping and use chemical toilets, and I have a trailer. You have to read what's the manufacturers say, and also talk to the RV place and sewage plants because in California they do not take certain blue goos. It screws up on the septic plant.
Yeah, the treatment plant.
Right, it
Okay,
messes it up.
we got several things here I want to talk on side chat. Okay, so CB talked about an app to track plants that you plant inside and move outside. Harvesting type count. Basically, it's information to help you get your garden going. There are certain plants that you can plant indoors and leave indoors. I'm doing that over on Camp Patton Family Compound. It's the Indoor Garden Experiment playlist, and I've been doing it since January, and I got some plants that I'm going through. I'm going to carry them over the winter.
Yeah.
Brenda's real good, lucky. Nearest neighbor's a mile away. That's a blessing. And, if you have a good neighbor a little bit closer that you can call in an emergency, that helps out.
Right.
All right, kept Mother's Day. Okay. Hey, roaming prepper, how's it going?
Hey, roaming prepper.
All right, let's get down to here before so we can wrap this up here. Hey, Barry. Barry's in here now too. All right, so nobody's else throwing stuff in about planting. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Tomorrow night, who's going live tomorrow night? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
I lost count. There's like 40 different lives.
Tomorrow's 2 times tomorrow. And earlier in the day, later on, Hedgehog Homestead. Then Thursday, I do the midnight ride with Gray Man Prepping starting at 11:55 p.m. Eastern. So we start a couple minutes before midnight. I did the 5-minute countdown. By then it's midnight Eastern time, and it's an open chat, and we have a lot of guests up, and we just talk about stuff, and wherever it goes, it goes. Friday, Fishes in Those Lives is doing the Friday at 11:30 Eastern. With the way things are going, I may start back up the Friday night in the homestead at 10 o'clock Eastern, do it for an hour, and then everybody takes their breaks and run over to Fishes. I'm not sure. Someone else is on Saturday, but yeah, best thing you can do, notebook of your own. Write down the channels you like, what time they're going live, so you don't miss them. All righty? And then next week here on...
Froze again.
And I froze. Next week on my Camp Patton Family Compound channel. It's one word. Camp Patton is one word. Family Compound. Okay. At 8 o'clock Eastern is the Monday Fireside Chat. And it's my birthday. And we're going to talk about birthdays and other stuff. And whatever comes up, it's going to be an open chat night after that. Hopefully the staff sergeant will be here, and I can get her to come on as my birthday present to me. Come on and co-host with me.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, guys, this is going to be an important one. Hopefully everybody hasn't gone to hear it and miss it. This is an important one. The title is Sheep Pox, the Deadliest Condition. And you'll find what that is Tuesday here on Tactical Tuesday. All right. With that, we're going to wrap it up. Any last word, Al?
I'll talk to you about your tomatoes and bell pepper plants afterwards.
Right. All righty, folks. That wraps it up for tonight. Remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding it to your preps. water, food, medicine, skills, canning jars, and we'll see you in the next video. We'll see you Thursday night. All right.